Let's be honest, in Persona, you're always going to be traversing areas that you really shouldn't be in.
That's weird. Where's the school? It should be. It said Shujin on the gate. What's going on here?
Sometimes these locations may look inviting because they actually are reminiscent to real-life places you can go in your life, like a museum or a casino. But once you actually go to these places, you realize they are not inviting. They have monsters that want to do harm to you. But don't fret, most likely if you find yourself in these places, you probably have a persona, a version of yourself that is given through moments of hardship that has godlike powers. But even with these powers and a team of friends, you guys still have your limitations. You don't know how far this realm leads, you could easily get lost, and when you engage with battles you need someone to keep tabs on the state of the fight. And that's where each Persona teams have a real MVP. And no, the MVP isn't the pro tag, it's not the super awesome male character that always gets really good physical, and it's not the one who supplies the whole team with housing. It's the Navigators. No, not these sorry f***s who are just temporary fill-ins, I mean the real Navigators. Yes, them. Navigators are your trump card to avoiding doom while traversing these labyrinths as you battle shadows to save mankind. They can supply the team with battle help like buffs and heals to change the tide of the fight. They can help progress dungeons and show you the direction of where to go, and they always seem to have aces up their sleeve, both in the real world and in the other one. Sounds pretty helpful, right? Yeah, well, not all Navigators are really built the same though.
Let's come over here. Akiko to support.
Try that.
Got it! Oracle, standing by!
Yeah. You keep hitting them with fire spells, that's fine.
Ready! Invoking Oracle!
You do you, Fuuka.
Look out! We need you! Please!
I wanted to make this video mainly because the community can't seem to agree who really is the best Navigator. Different opinions are fine, but as I'm currently updating this script, Riche's shots have been shown from Revival and some of her abilities along with it. And I'm noticing there is some info going around that is just actively wrong about previous games and the Navigator's skills and abilities. There's also some story stuff that's wrong too. So not only am I here to clean up misconceptions, but hopefully I can end the debate of who truly is the best Persona Navigator. Also, second update, it's currently July 1st as I'm adding the finishing touches, and it's actually Navigator Day apparently. Wow, my timing is sometimes so lucky. So I'm going to be grading each Navigator from the Persona games in the new Persona trilogy and putting them on a tier list. And to make sure I'm as thorough as possible, I'm going to be looking at every version of them. This includes their vanilla versions as well. Because I'm sure you, dear viewer, right now already have an idea of who you think is the best. But after I show you every version of each Navigator, well, this starts looking a little closer than you would think. Now in terms of spin-offs, I'm unfortunately not going to include Strikers, since I didn't want to give Futaba an unfair advantage. I also was going to try and include the Q series in here, since they were all featured in a Q game at one point, but I'm not exactly very knowledgeable with Q, and I also just fucking hate it, so yeah, let's just get started.
What is that? Huh?
Contract. I am thou. Thou art I. The forbidden wisdom has been revealed. No mysteries. No illusions shall deceive you any longer.
Futaba!
I'm okay.
Look at that!
Please, help me.
That's gotta go!
Futaba Sakura from Persona 5 is the Navigator for the Phantom Thieves. After the thieves changed Futaba's heart to not fear the outside world and blame herself for her mother's murder, she becomes an undeniable backbone for the thieves, saving them numerous amounts of times and also providing amazing insight in battle. We are starting off with a pretty insane Navigator. Let's look at her in Persona 5 Vanilla first, and then we'll go to Royal. I'm going to be using Persona 5 Royal footage though, mixed in with Vanilla, since her abilities are pretty much the same in both games besides the third semester. So Futaba has the ability to give an analysis of any enemy on the field, like all Navigators do in every game. Unfortunately, she doesn't actually tell you what enemies' affinities are until you actually interact with them. And even after you interact with them, it's actually Makoto that allows you to see everything about his shadow, using her shadow factorization. So analyzing isn't even really Futaba's job, it's kind of Makoto's. Which kind of sucks, but unlike the other Navigators I will cover in this video, she has her Confidant, which significantly helps her. Her Confidant straight up gives you really good abilities early that most of the other Navigators won't get until later. Just off rank 1 alone, you get moral support, which is a small chance to trigger buffs or heals during battle. Now the chance they occur and when they occur is entirely random, but I believe she reacts on the situation of the battle, so obviously if you guys are low in health, she might react and heal you guys then and there, compared to if the battle is going on a long time, then she might give you a buff. Before I talk about her other Confidant skills, she also gets passive heals that are naturally learned on her persona. The heals are given for the party every single time you complete a battle, consisting of 20% HP recovery and 3% SP recovery. So you're pretty much never going to be running out of SP in a Mementos run because you can just swap back in those backup members that have been getting the passive SP and HP. As for her next Confidant skill, which is rank 2, she gets Mementos Scan, which randomly gives her the chance to scan the entire floor and show you what is there. It's nothing too crazy, but I guess seeing where treasures are and getting a free skip to the next floor has its positive uses. But it's a rank 4 Confidant where things get really interesting. Position Hack. I think this is probably one of the most interesting abilities ever added into a Persona game. If you ever fail an ambush, gonna be honest, don't really know how you would do that, but let's just say you get into a neutral start, like you hit the enemy, you don't really get the ambush, but you're not really getting ambush. It's like that part where it depends on the agility at that point. Well, Futaba can just randomly just give you a hold up. It skips, honestly, everything that the battle usually would consist of, the whole downing part, and it just immediately puts them in a downed position, and now you can just ask for items, kill them, or get a persona. I mean, looking at it, this sometimes can be just straight up better than actually engaging in the battle because she just, well, skips it, of course. Another ability she gets is Emergency Shift, which can swap out party members if 2 end up unconscious. Once again, also random, and I actually think this is one of her more cooler abilities. I think Futaba has a lot of great stuff that tends to not get used, but I could actually see this maybe being useful in a certain situation depending on what boss you're facing. And then we get to her second best ability in her kit in my opinion, the ability to just shield any member from taking a fatal hit. In my experience, this ability only works when the characters are truly going to die, like Endure doesn't count and Enduring Soul doesn't count, I believe. Like, this will always be the last possible option when it's going to be triggered. So, if you're taking any other fatal hits but something is already going to be covering you, it's not going to work. Also, if it's already been used on another party member in that battle, it's not going to work. So it's a great ability, but when it actually triggers can be slightly confusing. Think about it like the spell Infinity in Persona 3 FES, but for one moment in a battle, and it happens randomly, depending on the damage that you were just about to take. So of course, this is all really great stuff. She's clearly got tools for in battle and outside of battle, but let's rewind a bit, because we didn't actually talk about her best Confidant skill. At rank 6, she probably gets straight up the best tool in her kit. Active Support. It changes from moral to active now by adding charge and concentrate and recovering SP. Now, I'm mainly of course looking at the charge and concentrate because a group-wide concentrate or charge is always something that can change the tide of a fight immensely. Now there are ways to trigger charge and concentrate consistently from one Navigator in this particular series, but as for Futaba in 5, well, I've tried to do a lot of testings, and I've tried to manipulate Futaba to give me charge and concentrate more often, but there truly is no way to make her do it. I've fully buffed my team before to try to trigger Futaba to do something else so she wouldn't give me Kaja buffs, and she just flat out will do nothing if the battle seems to be going in your favor. In fact, here are 7 minutes of stalling in a battle I tried to do, while being fully buffed all the time so she wouldn't give me buffs, and she would maybe give me concentrate or charge. Well, guess what she finally gave me after 9 turns of combat?
Enemies burning! Support's on the way!
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
So this can be kind of frustrating because I literally have no idea what makes her use certain skills over the other. So yeah. It seems that you need to be actually losing a fight for Futaba to actually intervene, like your health needs to be actively low. Your SP needs to be actively low. And in terms of buffs, I'm just guessing you need to take like really high damaging hits and then maybe she'll buff your defense or something. Yeah, I know that there are certain ways you can manipulate her to give you SP and HP, but in terms of buffs and charges, I have no clue. Now, looking at her additions in Royal, because of her trait Explosive Scheme, she can now have a chance to just straight up insta-kill all the enemies if you all-out attack them, while your team also recovers 25% of their HP. I mean, that's pretty crazy, that getting an all-out attack could just instantly kill all the enemies immediately. Well, it's not like you weren't doing high damage already, so this is kind of a nothing burger of an addition. Her third semester gives her a new skill though, called Ultimate Support. Once again, I don't really know how to get this to trigger, but I'm gonna assume it's based on the tide of the battle. These are all really cool abilities, don't get me wrong, but the problem with Futaba and Royal is that the whole party can kinda just do this on their own. Like, Yusuke literally gets a Heat Riser AoE for the whole party, and it's not like I don't get Brave Step with Violet. Well, I mean, hey, the Jazz Club is here now, which means Futaba can do debuffs, and if you take her 4 times, her chance of triggering moral support is way more often. That means you can get concentrated and charge more often. That's awesome. Well, not like Ryuji and Ann don't have group-wide skills that can just kind of do that for you. See the pattern here? See, Vanilla Futaba, most of the usefulness she gives the party in battle can be pretty helpful. Charge and Concentrate along with Kaja buffs, plus some SP recovery, is nice all the way until the game ends, even if it is RNG when it occurs. But see, even though Royal Futaba is given more and looks better on paper, her applications are actually more slim. Because in Royal, everyone could literally do fucking everything. Like, with the help of Jazz Club, literally 4 characters can already have Charge and Concentrate on their own builds alone in the mid-ladder of the game compared to Vanilla. So a lot of Futaba's uses kinda just fall flat. Especially when the late game characters just get skills that do everything she does for the whole party. Her Mementos abilities are really cool at least, and she has a lot of utility, but her use kinda just gets outclassed simply by Royal party members being way too capable. Plugging her into the tier list, she's still amazing. I'm only sounding slightly sad here because I wanted her to be S tier. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna give her vanilla version S tier and put the Royal version A tier. Yes, I know Futaba and Royal is a lot better on paper, but for actual uses and dependableness in gameplay, she's definitely more needed in vanilla simply because of the fact that the party members are not as broken. Fuuka Yamagishi. She's a very timid and kind student at Gekkoukan High School and the Navigator for Seas. After being saved by them on a full moon, she pays the favor by saving them with her amazing persona, Juno. She joins the team to help annihilate the Dark Hour with her very powerful navigation abilities. Let's look at her first appearance as a Navigator in Persona 3 Vanilla. And, besides this game, we have a lot of other games to cover, as she has a lot of different navigation variants. I'm going to be using FES footage when talking about Persona 3 Vanilla because they're pretty much identical, so this category right here is pretty much both Vanilla and FES Fuuka. And let's just say this Fuuka back then is, yeah, well, she isn't necessarily as helpful as Navigators are now, at least in her first debut. During the first fight she's introduced against the Emperor and Empress, you are supposed to constantly use Fuuka to scan and find their weakness. These are pretty much the only bosses her scan is actually useful in. Scanning for literally most bosses in this game usually doesn't tell you shit.
It has multiple I didn't know I had this kind of power.
Well, you don't, Fuuka. It's just the one fight they decided to give you a freebie. Now, scanning bosses still does have its benefits though, as even though you can't see the affinities of the enemy, your AI can. So, they at least know when to use skills and when to not use certain skills. Outside of that though, Fuuka's scan is literally useless, besides just knowing mobs' affinities. And even then, it takes Fuuka a few turns to actually tell you what the affinities are, so if you haven't killed them by then, I mean, I guess that's slightly helpful. She does have a few other abilities that are given to her persona, but these are mostly just made to make the analysis better. Like support scan makes it where you can actually see who's debuffed, buffed, and third eye lets you see more information on the target. So I mean, you know, all in all, kind of just, yeah, they just help her scan better. As you level up her persona, she at least gets better stuff, like the ability to escape Tartarus at level 62, which is nice since, you know, you usually have to look for a random teleporter or at least make it to a border floor to leave Tartarus and Fez. So the ability to just leave whenever you want is pretty cool. She also gets Healing Wave, which lets your party recover 15% HP whenever ascending to a new floor. Again, not too bad, but all these sound like peas and rice levels of usefulness, so overall you may think Fuuka as a navigator is pretty boring, as these all seem like the bare minimum of her job. But she does give one interesting ability that makes up for it depending on how you look at it. Oracle. This is Fuuka's one ability you can actually use in the game. What it does? Well, it does a couple of things that are supposed to be beneficial to the player. I'm saying beneficial very loosely here, because not all the effects she can give you are helpful. So let's cover some of them. Fuuka can recover your HP, she can recover your SP, she can recover both HP and SP, she can cure all ailments inflicted on your party, and she can practically just kill you by reducing all of your HP to 1.
Look out! Are you okay? Please be more careful.
Fuuka, what the fuck are you talking about? You did this! You! Yep. So pretty much, I want you to imagine I gave you a bag of cookies and I said they taste like heaven and eating a bite makes you want to do cartwheels in a circle. But one of those cookies has a potential to pretty much bald you instantly, give you cancer, and lose your sight and you become blind. Yeah, overall these positives are great, but there's one more teeny tiny issue besides the obvious negative of Fuuka basically killing you. Well, you can only do this once per day. Yeah. Fuuka Oracle can only be used once per day. Why? I don't know. It's just the way it fucking is. So Oracle overall is probably just going to be used for very, very rare instances. I've seen it being used for Liz's fight before, as it's like a quick full SP and HP heal if you want to use your turn doing something else, which is cool. Now, I'm probably thinking surely these effects are given based on the situation, right? Like, you know, even though Futaba's charges and buffs are random, she actually did give you HP and SP whenever you needed it. Well, yeah, you'd be right to think it works like that, but it doesn't. Fuuka generally just gives you whatever the fuck she wants. I tried testing this myself to see if being at lower HP and HP only would give me a better chance of receiving either HP or the HP plus SP combo, but sometimes she would literally just give me ailments or straight up drop my HP to 1, so pretty much just consider it as gambling, and you only get to gamble once per day. Kinda buns, I'm not gonna lie. Now in Portable though, this was significantly changed. She actually got a decent glow up in Portable. Not only is her negative effect gone, but they replaced a lot of her positives with even better stuff, and she actually looks at the state of your party to determine what she gives. Hey, not bad, Atlas. It's not entirely RNG like how it is with Fez now. And an added plus, when you use Oracle, it's on your own same turn. Usually you had to wait like a turn or so for Fuuka to actually use it in FES. But I have to slowly stop my Atlas glaze for a second, because they still figured out a way to fuck it up. So in FES's transition to Portable, all of the old descriptions given for Fez Fuuka are the same ones here. So yeah, remember how I showed you guys on screen my HP dropping to 1 and the game actively tells you, hey, your HP was dropped to 1. Well, in Portable, it still says that, despite that not being the effect anymore. Here, she's giving Revolution crit up to my party, yet it still says the old Fez description of your HP has been reduced to 1. They messed this up for all of the effects, by the way. She can give Salvation and Revive to the whole party, that's HP restored. She can give a Tetracon and Macaricon to the whole party, that's SP restored. Heat Riser to the whole party, that's HP and SP restored. Power Charge and Mind Charge to the whole party, that's now ailments cured. And the Revolution crit up to the whole party was the HP reduced to 1. So there's all of them right there. That's a pretty funny blooper. I don't know how the devs weren't able to fix this. Another fun fact, in Persona 3 Portable, whenever you switch your persona, you can't switch back unless your turn ends. However, if you already switched and then used Oracle, you're actually able to switch to another persona again. Not extremely practical and useful, but kinda just a cool fact. And as I mentioned, she actually looks at the state of your party now. So if you have members that are unconscious, she can revive them, as well as give you cards. If everyone's health is above 50%, she will randomly give you buffs, charge or concentrate, and or revolution. So the glow up she had from FES to Portable was actually life-changing. Of course, Oracle is still a one-day use, so using the ability in emergency situations is of course recommended. But again, call me impressed. I think they did a great job. And then we got a whole new era of Fuuka. Reload Fuuka. Reload Fuuka was nearly entirely reworked thanks to the addition of 3G. 3G allows her to pretty much give you all those juicy effects in Portable, but now on a meter that can be easily increased over time instead of having one-day use. Along with her 3G, she also got some new abilities that counterpart versions didn't have. She gets jamming that allows you to avoid detection from enemies until entering battle and or changing floors, so it's pretty much just the Hermit card from Persona 4. She also gets Sylphid Aura at level 26, which raises your party's defense and accuracy and evasion in the next battle. I doubt you'll ever really need this for mob fights, but hey, if you ever wanted to get some preset buffs like autos for a strong shadow or a Tartarus boss, well, she's your girl for that. And she also learns this extremely early too. Another little ability they gave her is Shock Noise, which is distressing all the enemies on the field. I'm gonna be real, this is another ability where I felt like I personally never even used it in my playthrough, because yeah, most of the mobs I didn't really have any trouble with while traversing through the dungeons, and I thought maybe the one use of this could be maybe for farming gold hands, but it doesn't even seem to work on gold hands in my experience, but it's still a cool addition nonetheless. Of course, she has escape route just like Portable and FES Fuuka did, but she also has one more addition that could be seen as broken depending on how you look at it: Tartarus Search. Given at level 64, the skill fully reveals the entire floor and provides a shortcut to the next floor. So once you get this ability, you technically never actually have to go dungeon crawling again in Tartarus, as you can just skip the hassle of finding the stairs for a trade-off of 50 SP. It does sound kind of insane, but 50 SP is still a lot, so I think the trade-off given is somewhat fair, I guess. Since those are all of her abilities, let's go back to the main meat and potatoes, the 3G. Because scanning builds her meter, you don't actually have to worry about having Oracle's positive effects for only one day. Now, scanning does take SP, but you can also build her 3G in other ways that are pretty easy as well, by just kind of playing the game and fighting. That naturally builds her 3G as well. So you're gonna have a lot of Fuuka 3Gs in each Tartarus strip. Just like Portable, she actually looks at the state of your team, meaning if your SP is low, you'll get SP recovery, and if your HP is low, you'll get HP recovery. And if you're all healthy and not unconscious, she'll either give you charge and concentrate or a group-wide heat riser. The only thing she can no longer do is give cards and revolution, but considering how you'll be able to 3G multiple times in a day, I think her losing that isn't very harmful. Now, putting them on their final grades, FES Fuuka, honestly, just straight up a fucking burger flipper. I can't even lie. She honestly can't really do much. And I mean, yeah, outside of Oracle, her skills are bare bones as shit. So I think I'm just gonna give her burger tier. That's the nicest I can be. As for Portable Fuuka, she does get some really good Oracle effects that no longer have a downside. But again, it's still pretty much the same situation that you only get a one-day use. And outside of her Oracle use, her skills are practically one-to-one the same as FES, so I'm still gonna give her a little higher than burger tier and I. And lastly, Reload Fuuka. Can she save the Soul Society? Well, the fact not only she has more tools for you to use in Tartarus like floor scan and jamming, but she also has her Oracle in a 3G now, which paired with building it very fast means you can get a lot of value out of it per Tartarus trip. Overall, she did get a lot better in terms of utility, so I'm going to give her A tier. I don't think she's S tier because Futaba is just slightly better, so yeah. Looking at Fuuka as a whole, I'm glad she slowly improved in each version of the game, so I'll give her some credit. At least her OG version actually did something helpful in battle, unlike the next candidate I'm about to talk about, who is the most overglazed and has the most misinformation.
You, me, even Rosette. They were all born from me. All of them are me.
Rise Kujikawa is truly the backbone of the investigation team. After joining Yasogami High for a temporary visit to Inaba, Rise aids the investigation team while fighting Shadow Teddy and Marakyu striptease, and later officially joins the team, determined to figure out who is the Inaba killer. She's a pretty awesome navigator that always... Rise Kujikawa, the most LARPed navigator of all time, and the most glazed one. Oh, she's the best. Oh, she does everything. Yeah, half of this is right and half of this is wrong. I see so many people talk about how good Rise is, and they always mention both Persona 4 versions, Golden and Persona 4. Like, no, slow down. Yes, we'll get to Golden Rise in a second, but first we need to talk about her first debut, which was in Persona 4 on the PS2, where she was utterly buns, the worst navigator I've ever seen in a JRPG, even worse than FES Fuuka, and no, I'm not exaggerating. Let's start covering her abilities and what she does, shall we? So Rise roughly is just Fuuka, but much worse. She has the ability to analyze whatever enemy is on the field. Analyzing is now instantly those, you no longer have to wait a turn, like how Fuuka usually made you wait a turn or so. Rise also gets Third Eye just like Fuuka, which helps you know the effectiveness of an attack. The only problem with Third Eye for Rise and most of her analyzing abilities, you'll only know what the enemy is weak to after you actually engage with it. So only Fuuka can actually tell you the affinities of what you've never interacted with. Rise and Futaba pretty much just left you guessing, which effectively doesn't really help me at all. What she'll also do is give pretty much useless callouts that I can't really make out because it's just a random fun fact about a shadow that literally tells me nothing. Like, there'll be like 4 shadows on the field and she'll be like, oh, that shadow likes waffles over pancakes. Like, that's great, Rise. Who the fuck cares? Like, I don't know which one you're talking about. Which one likes waffles over pancakes? The ugly looking dude over here? This guy? Like, I don't know. So her one basic job she can't even really do. And this is her maxed level. This is her on her max social link. And this is the best she gets. But Legendary, you're being way too harsh on Rise. Futaba couldn't scan either. Yeah, I know, but Futaba also had a lot of other abilities that she gave to the party. Let's see what Rise gives you, right? So we get a healing wave again, which used to be 15% from Fuuka, but it's now 5% from Rise, because I don't know, idiot, you bought Persona 4, fuck you. And this healing wave is only given after a battle, it's not given per floor, so it's just worse and worse with Rise. I guess she does get Relaxing Wave, which restores your SP, which is something Fuuka never could do, but it's still after a battle, which is arguably worse. I'm losing more HP and probably SP engaging with the battle, so the little reward of 5% for HP and SP is almost damn near nothing versus just giving it to me per floor ascension. I guess you can argue Tartarus has a lot more floors than an average P4 dungeon, so that's why they made it battle. But they should have just increased the percentage then. I don't know why we only give 5%. Futaba literally gives 20, like come on now. Oh yeah, we also gotta talk about her other 2 useless abilities. So instead of giving her Dungeon Escape like how Fuuka gets it, you know, which would have been very helpful in this game since the only way you could leave a dungeon is using these shitty ass items called Go Homes or reaching the complete end of the dungeon where the butterfly is. No. Instead we get Fast Escape, where I can just escape random battles successfully. I guess, man, not like Trafuri doesn't exist. Like, why would you not just make it where you can escape the P4 dungeon? Most players just completely hate the concept of Go Homes, and I think I don't like them either. Like, the ability to escape a dungeon with an item is just kind of shitty. Like, you know, again, Tresto does exist too, but I just feel like Fuuka had Fast Escape for Tartarus. I don't know why we couldn't get Fast Escape for Tartarus P4 style, but, you know, whatever. And then we gotta look at actual skills. Because, yeah, Rise doesn't get none. You can't use anything from Rise in battle. She doesn't give you anything. There's no, hey, here's some HP and SP. Yeah, all that stuff that people keep mentioning that they swore P4 Rise could do is all golden stuff. She didn't do none of that shit in P4 vanilla at all. She didn't give you buffs or heals or SP or nothing. At least Oracle had something I could play with. I mean, yeah, sure, it was gambling if I just lost my life or not. But, I mean, you know, she still gave me full HP and full SP. That is a use. There's nothing Rise remotely even does at all. Oh, what about treasure radar? Oh, what about shadow radar? Oh, you mean the ability that just lets me see what's on the map that I'm going to explore in the next 10 to 20 seconds anyway? Yeah, sorry, that's not cutting it. I have to give her genuine F tier. She is atrocious. She's genuinely just horrible. So Golden Rise does quite literally what all Navigators do, but just better. That 5% HP and SP after battle I just mentioned, yeah, buffed 10% for both. That scan that does literally nothing, now at rank 6 exposes one of the enemy's weaknesses on the field, which is better than nothing. Rise can also boost your all-out attack damage. Like, what? Why are we doing that? And if you take her on more bike trips, the damage gets even higher, going all the way up to 5 bike trips. But this isn't even the true actually busted part about her. Rise actually only at rank 7 can randomly support the party between turns. Her support skills range between healing with ailment cure, restoring SP, granting a buff that the party doesn't have active, by the way. So people saying that, oh, Rise doesn't actually pay attention to what she gives you, no, she does. She quite literally will look at the state of your party, and if you already have a Sukukaja on the whole party or a Rakukaja on the whole party, you're getting Tarukaja. She actually notices what you need. And here's the best part. If you're fully buffed, she will give you power charge and mind charge to the whole party. So not only does Rise give you stuff you actually need, she does this every 3 to 4 turns consistently. Of course, the chance of pulling SP and HP is random, because if your HP and SP is low, but you still want buffs and charge and concentrate, she might prioritize the SP and HP over that. But as long as you guys are somewhat at healthy amounts of HP, you should constantly be getting stuff you actually need, which is genuinely insane. Compare that to Futaba, who might do it after you're like seconds from being dead. Yeah, Rise actually just got the improvement of a lifetime. I didn't even mention how she can block the party from a fatal hit just like Futaba, but she can also just kind of revive the protagonist because she's just God, I guess. Purely S tier. I mean, just above Futaba too. It's just it's not even a competition. She genuinely is just busted, and it might even get worse. So looking at the revival shots, I saw one of the things that said she can now just give enemies random ailments. And considering that that new ability that lets you like hit other enemies into, oh my goodness, like Rise genuinely might be even more broken than she is actively currently right now in Golden. And that scares the shit out of me. So it's already been confirmed that she can res the protagonist just like she does in Golden too. So Revival Rise might just put everyone to shame. Now, seeing the final list, you're probably thinking, Legend, we knew Rise was the best Navigator. Well, maybe you didn't know that Rise and Vanilla was dog shit, but you probably already knew that Golden Rise was all that. So sure, she might be arguably the best in gameplay, and Revival might even overstep that even more, but who said that was the only thing I was going to mention? Let's actually look at the Navigators as a whole, like persona ability in the games. So persona power and your natural persona ability is something that's incredibly important, and in this series, it's not even close between the three. Rise Kujikawa straight up can't summon her persona in the real world and expresses frustration about this. She also couldn't find the killer and had to completely rely on Teddy once again. If you look at Futaba, Futaba also can't really do anything outside the metaverse in terms of her persona. So she also really needs the other world, or she kinda can't use her powers. Compare that to Fuuka, and it's like night and day. It's heavily implied that the Seas Cast can just summon outside the Dark Hour. For example, Makoto can literally summon his persona to kill Ryoji in the bad ending, and that wasn't in the Dark Hour. For Fuuka's case, there are many times where she can just actively sense things in the real world. Like when Ryoji vanished, she could tell he was gone and there was no point in trying to chase after him. She could also tell that Koromoru had the persona potential in him. So it's almost like Juna and Lucia are just completely at her access in any period of the day. So in raw persona power, Fuuka is definitely dominating with flying colors. And then we have without their personas who would be the best in the real world. Well, I think we all know who clears. Rise, once again, gets completely gapped by the other two, as she doesn't really do anything outside the TV world in terms of like helpfulness for the team at all. She's a superstar idol. Yeah. Fuuka does a lot more for the team, especially for Yukari, as she literally breaks into Kirijo files. But unfortunately, this pales heavy comparison to Futaba. Futaba did literally everything for the thieves in the outside world. Not only did she discover their identities entirely on her own, she also hijacked TV stations and official networks so they can get broadcasting. She was the main reason why that advanced plot involving Joker and the killer managed to actually work out, and Joker walked away with his life, not a bullet inside of him. So Rise might be the best in gameplay, which is like, you know, a lot of people will already kind of believe Rise is the best just for that reason, which I don't blame them. But factoring in these as well, Futaba and Fuuka both get their own categories where they excel over another. So who truly is the best? Well, I don't fucking know. It really just depends on you. I actually have no idea who the definitive answer is. Okay, chill, guys. Look. Okay, I have an answer, alright? The best Navigator in the Persona series is Akechi. Yeah, it's Akechi. I just love how he just absolutely tweaks out in battle for no reason. Like,
Joker's scared. What a sorry sight. You piece of shit! I'm gonna kill you!
oh yeah, that's peak.